Konnichiwa. Today's daily devotional is for Thursday, April the 2nd, 2020. And it's called Lay That Heavy Plate on the Table. That's what it's there for. And I'm going to start with 1 Corinthians 1:27-29. But God chose what is foolish in the world to shame the wise. God chose what is weak in the world to shame the strong. God chose what is low and despised in the world, even things that are not, to bring to nothing things that are, so that no human being might boast in the presence of God. Okay, it's almost time for cookouts, and though this year they may be held virtual inside your house, okay? All right, God forbid, all right? Okay, so thank God, though, that indoor grills were created, because for so long I have hated, all right? Just don't like them at all, all right? Because my ex-husband is from Dallas, Texas, and he's a grill master. I have to say, he really could grill, and those gas grills don't have the same taste as the charcoal and the the smoke. All right, Elmo, enough, let's move on. Okay, so anywho, he can, and he would always grill anything to the gods. All right, and I was his little guinea pig. I just really loved tasting his foods, and I stayed in hog heaven. All right. Okay, so I would cook all the sides, and I would have little parties all the time, people over, because I like to have fun, and he was the shy one, and he would just stay out on that grill all day long, as far away as possible. And sometimes there would be some of his friends over a lot of times too, and they would stay outside. All right, so but for myself, I was such a spoiled, pampered princess at the time, and I would have to have my big ceramic plate, where I could stack up my food on there, But for my guests, I was not going to be washing all those dishes, so I had to invest in a disposable plate that would handle all that heavy weight from all that food. And then also I would get some of the cheap flimsy ones, and ones of different sizes, small, medium, or large. Okay, so so some of the guests would fill it and double stack, to the max, where the plate would collapse, depending on the size. All right, and some would get a little, and depending on the size again. So some would get a little, and I'd be like, that's all you're gonna eat? Scared you might get a fat in the middle, trying to be all cheeky and stuff. But with a plate like that, there was no way they could eat a meal that was complete. All right, they'd have to go back while I got to sit back and relax, because my plate wasn't going to crack. Yes, back then my tongue was whack. All right, because with my siblings, I could joke like that, But God said to me, Elmo, enough, let's move on, because most people would think that your heart is black, all right, because they don't understand all that. So that brings me to Ecclesiastes 11:4-6. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. As you do not know the way the spirit comes to the bones in the womb of a child in the womb of a woman with child, so you do not know the work of God, who makes everything. In the morning sow your seed, and at evening withhold not your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, this or that, or whether both alike will be good. Okay, so I'm so glad God saved me, all right? Because now I can have a seat at the table, and I do have one, all right? I'm more accepted by people. I don't understand that. I mean, I now understand that everybody's able. Everybody's not able, All right, so, and that translates to every other areas in my life too, okay? I'm not even talking about food now, okay? So I have learned not to sit on my high horse and look down on others and think that we're all, just because we have the same 24 hours, I don't think that we're all on the same coast, There's so many different East Coast, West Coast, and some people operate a few hours ahead and wake up earlier than others, and it may be because they don't have enough on their plate, or they're afraid to let things touch and get mixed together. you know? And like my son, he doesn't like his food on his plate, but you know, you're talking about something else, okay? And and some people, you know, they wake up late because they have too much on their plate and they don't know how to balance it. All right. Okay, so like, for instance, I got married and had my kids very young. I was 20 years old. And when I got a divorce, I got child support immediately because my ex-husband was Air Force. So they set it up right away when I left Japan. All right. And, but my childhood best friend, she's 1 year older than me, and she didn't have her child until she was 40. Okay. All right. And she was single. And not that I ever did or would, but it would be wrong of me to expect her to be financially fit like I am, you know, right now, because at this moment in life, you know, because her baby is 13 years old and my kids are grown. All right. My little brats are grown. And when I see them, I don't regret the struggle, you know. I laugh with amazement about how I was able to balance that heavy plate, you know. And like, how did I do it? Because and I also took in my ex-boyfriend's 2 kids. He was a single dad, and I took care of them because at the time he was sick in the mind, but now he's doing great. Very happy to say that. All right. God is good. And for me, stepping up to the plate, God removed that chapter 7 after I went bankrupt, and once again made my credit excellent. And since 2011, I've been excelling. All right. I'm so happy to say that. And now to her, my bestie, and to all of you, I'm telling, no matter how big and heavy your plate is, I say do whatever you can and have to do to make their lives tasty and delightful, especially now, folks, because the weather outside is frightful. Power thought. Your plate may collapse, but hold on to it with a tight grasp and don't let it fall and hit the grass. Love you guys. Have a great day. Mwah.